Warm greetings from Jaya School of Architecture, and today we are on the successful 14th session of the DECODE series. Today we have a very interesting topic and also an interesting heading to the topic as such. It is ARCHIPRENEURIAL Journey and Emerging Trends for Sustainable Practice by architect Karunakaran. I now welcome Esther Sherin, professor who is associated with Jaya School of Architecture, to give the welcome address and also the welcome note for the guest speaker for the day. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. A very good evening to one and all present here. We welcome you to the DECODE series for Jaya School of Architecture. It's indeed been quite an interesting session of the past 13 days, and we have yet another special speaker with us today to share his thoughts with us. We welcome architect Karunakaran Raju sir. Architect Karun earned his architecture degree from Anna University and his master's in project management from SPA University, Delhi. He's a registered professional with Council of Architecture, and he is pursuing his research in smart cities and a professor visiting at VIT. And he participates in conferences on design engineering technology with 30 plus years of experience. Architect Karun has primary focus on strategy design, build operate consulting, services for infrastructure, companies, healthcare, housing, smart city companies, and develops a process for operational excellence, transformation in line with strategic goals of the client. He is the director of the Habitat Group, architect with 3 decades of experience, specializing in healthcare projects, technologies for ACE industry, and smart city planning aspirant. Entrepreneurial journey and emerging trends for sustainable practice. Here, sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Thank you so much. This topic, primarily, I wanted to address a lot of young architects and share some experience, what we went through a few decades of practice, Well, I'll just share my screen. So when we say entrepreneurial journey, I mean an architect taking up an entrepreneurial journey. And well, the architect need not be only a professional purist doing pure architecture all the time. So we believe every one of us could do multiple things, and as per the code of conduct and by the law. And second part is I wanted to say something about the future trends for the youngsters today coming out of schools. What I mean by sustainable practice is it's got less of sustainability, not usual sustainability we all discuss all the time. It's about a practice. How do we have a practice which is kind of comfortable? That's what I meant. So we do kind of end-to-end service as consultants. We built a consortium of people from a usual architecture practice, which works on planning, design, and even the project management. We took a few steps backward and forward, and we said, let's take a look at the entire life cycle. Why not start from an early stage of what if we can do a business planning? Plan for a business, some of the verticals like housing or healthcare, even education, what we are good at. When I say we, the consortium includes multiple specialists, friends, and associates, and need not be under one company or one roof. Especially today with the WFH, we are spread all over. So we come together and we create a kind of an entity which can offer a 360-degree service. And we even look at what we call as operations management. When a project is completed, like a hotel or a hospital, there is a very clear possibility the consultant can even set up the operations and make it a successful venture. In a lighter way, I could say, well, if you make it a successful venture, your last part of the fee, which is normally about 15-20%, is assured. Otherwise, we are not going to get it. So I'm sure the practicing architects would agree on that. Uh, so when you look at strategic planning, which precedes the design strategies, where multiple specialists like even an investor or a CFO of a company, the marketing guys, everybody come and put their foot inside and say, well, this is what I want, and this is what the investor wants. It's like it's a whole lot of debate which happens in the early stage of a project. Once you have some kind of a uh, architectural brief or a project brief in place, then really the design starts. But I wanted to say a few words on what is sourcing today. So I'm getting into multiple options what we have. When you look at after design, we normally we say, okay, you do the engineering and procurement and go to construction. But there is one massive entity called uh, supply chain management. So that is what we call as sourcing, where uh, whatever goes into a building project today, which is 50, 60% of a project, has to be effectively managed. And why not we do that? Because anyway, when I put a furniture into my plan, if I make the decisions, if it is a Godrej chair or a Herman Miller chair, I've done my sourcing. So today's data, there's a whole lot of data which comes out of what we design. And if we slightly expand our, girth of our architectural practice, we're going to, get the benefits of doing that. So that's another vertical we focus on, especially the interior architects would agree on that. PMC is widely spoken, which is basically a seamless integration of every stage of a project. Today, most of the architects do that, and there are specialized consultants who are offering that service. But the young architects, I would like to tell you, when you talk about PMC, the you need to differentiate between the construction management and the project management. I'm sure the 5, 6 architects in my office would agree. I've recently taken 3, 4 interns, and they have moved on as architects. So when we work on a health project, we specialize in healthcare projects. So one fine day, I told them, you have to get me some nurses. So one of the young architect was perplexed. He was telling me, why should we? We are architects. I said, when you say call it a project, when you want to make it successful, you need to get the people. So, so then somebody else is working on the technology. So you need to. There is a possibility one can expand this horizon. If someone like to become a project management consultant, you have to think out of the construction. And a project is much more than construction. It could be even 30, 40% more or 50% more than the construction. So if you could slightly expand your, scope of work, it's going to give us a lot of advantage, is what I say. Of course, operations management is a totally different vertical. It calls for experts, and we associate with the experts. So if you look at this broad 4 verticals in a consulting practice, one doesn't have to be an expert in doing all of these, because we typically work with 25, 30 consultants in doing this. So it is all about truly creating a collaborative practice. That's what I mean when I say we kind of offer a 360-degree practice. So I'm going to simply pass this slide. It shows the components of what we do. So someone can do a planning, design, build, and operate. And I like to mention the facility management is getting a lot of limelight nowadays. I had an experience of managing the VIT campus with about close to 7, 8 million square feet. I had 800 people working in my team. So I have seen a number of architects who have become facility managers in corporates like JLL, CBRE, and varied companies. So that's another option as well. Apart from people specializing in a lighting designer or acoustic designer, green building architect, interior architect, landscape, there are 10 different kind of architects. But beyond that, the market is expanding. There is a programming architect. There is like the facility management I was talking about, master planning architects. Apart from the established areas like urban design or planning. There is also sales and marketing, which is a avenue for architects today. Some of them have really taken up. I've seen a real estate strategy player. A couple of architects close to my batch who are heading JLL kind of companies on a national level. If you look at this first thing, what we call a business plan is the key. So it is worthwhile getting into all these pieces. So what we say, when you put a project together, you need to put the pieces, a lot of pieces together. And it's about, it's an absolute team play. And the team most wanted thing is the capital, the investment, and everybody have to, we normally talk about a client and we think of a client as an individual, good old days, a lot of youngsters, things like that. But today, investor is nothing but a team, part of the team. He's a CFO, Chief Financial Officer. He brings the funds. So we're all a team. It's like an IPL team where 10 different country guys are playing together. So why not we make this play with 10 experts and make a project where there is an element of comfort and magnitude built into this kind of a system, which is what I would say the future is all about. So when we wanted to talk about the value chain from a simple consultant, there are turnkey design build architects today or consultants today. But then as per, I don't want to get into the argument of can we build, because RIBA has made codes for architects doing buildership, but we're not getting into that space. There could be two different companies working together. You design, you build, but you are a consortium. And then technologies like BIM today, they've grown so big. There are BIM technology companies with 1,000 people working in India. There are no professional firm which has 1,000 people. So these guys give a costing solution, which is the most wanted. So when we talk about an entrepreneur, you can have a life cycle involvement in a building project you make. When you say a life cycle, whatever design and data we produce today, the data becomes an asset. So the digital asset today can live for another 20 years, 30 years, the lifetime of a consultant, and you can monetize that. So what we suggest many people is the digital space is beyond making a project for a couple of years. It can extend to another 20, 30, 40, the lifetime of a consultant. And you monetize, certainly you can monetize, like how these software companies like Facebook or Apple or anybody is monetizing. So we've been working on this innovation bug in us. So we've created a Center for Innovation, and many architects have been invited, including the professors who have connected us today. So we wanted to pull in youngsters and connect more into software as a service, and a lot of jargons are here, platform as a service. In simplicity, it is like making another Ola taxi, but it could connect thousands or lakhs of professionals and working together. So today, the innovation journey in every industry, last year, 2021, there were about close to $50 billion companies made by youngsters aged between 25, 35. So I'm really looking forward to architects getting into the same innovation appetite. And we like to see more startups, and that's what we are working on in our place called My Desk. So these are a lot of corollaries which are happening. So even the branding, communication, digital, allied with architecture, is having a lot of importance, gaining importance today. So there is this huge, I would say, the center of attraction in any project is raising fund. So we are today raising fund for a medical college and trying to have make a project with our investor consortium. So that's a clear possibility. I'm saying it's like make your own movie. You can direct it. That's a kind of scenario we look at. See what happened over the last 2 decades. I would say architects have become a marginalized professional in this industry because we were entirely depending on builders. So post COVID, you would have seen uh, the market has really gone down, and our dependency have been kind of, we got into a lot of issues. Many of us had issues, but then we need to work on the help, self-help. So this is one of the focus I have. I'll quickly run through it, where how the journey we had as entrepreneurs. From architects, we grew up into PMC, and then we delivered end to end, and we took up technology as a core of platform for us to how we participate in managing the entire facility using technology. So we took this journey. There is a public-private participation, what we call. We could do a lot of work with the government. Imagine we today every government project is getting so big, like 1,000 crores, 5,000 crore buildings are being made. So to even qualify for them, none of the Indian architects are getting qualified. So we need a different kind of collaboration to truly qualify for that. And more projects are getting into the triple B mode. So this is an emerging scenario. So when we started working, we started expanding to multiple states using this technology. You know, the techies are doing so well. So, well, architecture is a 5,000-year-old profession, but the 50-year-old profession is doing a million times as. So what we thought, we will embrace technology. Now we used technology as a ladder to reach all these locations and projects. And there is also design and build opportunities happening around that. I mean, it is entirely a game changer. We kind of accidentally invented in the COVID times, discovered in the COVID times. So we took a journey. We said, okay, we'll take this platform, spine as technology for us, and we build infrastructure around it. So infrastructure became an accessory, and technology became the core for us. So you segment the customers, and then we start looking at what do our clients want. And this shows space management is at the bottom of the pyramid. But if you really look at, everybody wants the leaders and economizer or minimalist. They want many different things. If you look at the experience of customer is one of the key drivers of budget and value today. So we took the same approach in reaching some of the African countries. The green ones, we have signed a few projects. About 20 countries have accepted us as a partner business company from India, because Africa is opening up in a big way. I would really suggest the youngsters to invade Africa. Plenty of projects. Post China fallout, they are looking at the malls are getting converted into health malls, because that's a typology which is doing well. So there is a modular construction which is going to happen. So we see the construction industry post COVID is getting completely disrupted. And this modular construction, we worked with a company from Dubai who makes 50% of the construction is made in the factory. Sorry, 90% is made in the factory, and the 10% assembly happens at sites. During COVID times, they did a lot of work. So there is one more guy like the modular guy who makes an entire building in the factory. Because we remember 20 years ago, the modular furniture guy stole the business from us. Now there is one more guy who is going to take the entire building outside the site. There is no PMC then because they're all in the production line. When I talked about the branding and communication, so these experts take a lot of fee, but if architects can collaborate, the benefits come to us, and we integrate these two. The future of innovation also gets into different ways of doing things. This is just an example. This is just a sample. I had the opportunity of collaborating with two of my friends who own a company in US and another one represent a company in US, India. See, when we have to apply for a AIMS project, which is 2,000 crore project, they ask for 100 crore turnover. None qualifies in India. It is entirely made for MNC. So we said we didn't give up. So we collaborated and we qualified because they want a single project with $1 million fee component. So collaboration is the key. It's just going to be the future of what we do. So, well, how much time I have, professors?
You have another 5 minutes.
Great. Accordingly, I'll switch my. So when we, this is what we are working on as the future now. We are looking at platform as a service, and we have different companies collaborating, IT companies, and the kind of comprehensive problems are being addressed. There is a McKinsey research which shows our industry has a 50% gap in productivity, and there is a 30% cost saving is still possible, which is like a few $1 trillion. So I see that as a massive opportunity of design and cost saving, cost consulting as a major area for designers. And because anything we do close to the cost is going to give us a value advantage. And from a traditional approach of a line organization, we would look at workflows, which is a very circular workflow where everyone gets unified. What we call a platform is where every expert is unified, and it's a round table. We work together. There's a lot of data sharing, and we call this as business market functions work together. And this is the future and very ambitious program we've been working on. It's a massive opportunity, what we call a business process optimization. So coming down to the lighter vein of it, so a lot of, see, whenever I ask an youngster, I'm leaving this part, the complex part now. A 2-year-old architect says, well, what do you want to do? He says, I've not thought about it. Oh gosh, I thought he's the perfect guy. What did we do? We all, 20, 30 years ago, we were always in the race. We were keeping a lot of things close to our chest and holding it hard. So I guess the present Gen Z is going to be working in the lighter vein. So as seniors and experienced professionals, we may have to create a platform for them to work at comfort. And that is what we are trying to work on. And we believe the opportunities are plenty, especially the low time what many of us have faced in the last couple of years or 5 years. I would say by the books and as good architects, we could still build a large consortium and network. And there is a clear possibility we come back and we become the dominant player in the industry, and certainly the industry would be respecting and revolving around us as a key professional to, run this design and construction industry. So that is what we are focused on. I wanted to share as the journey and the trends for the future. Great. Thanks, Prof. Any queries I can take? Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
So rather than queries, I think the participants would like to hear more from you about the topic. So anything very special you would like to share with them, it would be of great help, sir.
Oh, yes. No, I think my thing is it's all about we need to take the there is so much coming up, things like this, smart cities. I would say we need to aspire and play our role and expand our roles. As architects and professionals, we need to catch up with the change and at the same time work in comfort. I always look at someone like doctors who are the center of that particular profession, whereas for 3 decades we felt marginalized. Marginalized, I truly mean, because we are a 1% player in our industry. So how do we take the center stage and not for the money or ego of it, but truly you put your good thoughts and ideas together for the benefit of the society. How do we do that? We've been trained and we worked very hard for it. But we have not been, most of us feel we're not getting the opportunity, or somebody is always there to take away those good work you do. It never gets implemented. That's a point I'm focusing on. Unless we build a large consortium and collaborative team in place, this trend is not going to change. So I'm just calling for the youngsters to build a large practices, 100 people, 1,000 people practices, like the IT companies, and startup, create $1 million startup, which is possible in a single year. Can we do that? That's a question I have by the end of the day. So we are incubating a center for that with youngsters.
So for the students out here and the young entrepreneurs, what would be the specific or thing which they have to specialize to be a part of the smart cities? Like any special things they have to focus, because most of them here are on the 5th year, on the final years basically, and maybe they will be getting into this field. So anything specific they have to specialize so that this kind of an advice would be of great help, sir.
See, all of us are rushing into the low-hanging fruits when we are young. Everyone has a different priority, but how do we take it up and strengthen our professional capabilities? For example, someone has to do an MBA out of the industry. You can do a generic MBA, and where technology is part and parcel of any management degree. So you have a overall confidence to talk to anybody, any investor in large projects. And similarly, the design is an exploding industry where there are 100 kind of designs, like anything under the sun, the graphic design, web design to industrial design, product design. So the B.Des, M.Des courses are going to be the happening thing in the next decade. So can we play a role in that? So design and strategy are going to be the key players, key capabilities to energize the young future professionals, I would say. generic approach. And then you specialize over the year, 5, 10 years. When you practice, you start liking something, or somebody likes you, you start specializing after that. You know? Yes.
I have a question, Professor. In this process, how is responsibility on deliverables framed?
That's a good question. See, when you truly delegate and integrate yourself as a team, because we've been tuned to believe in as a loners and very eccentric individuals, and we work alone kinds in the college. But that's one of the undoing. We work so hard when the youngsters come into our offices to work as a team. And but when they start working as a team, the synergy is what we find is tremendous. 2, 3 people produce 10 times the output. So your responsibility is increased when you work in a team, because you do it for the team. Especially the today's youngsters, they do it for the team and they deliver for the team, not as an individual. As an individual, they would have done a miserable, never they commit to the delivery. So this is what I say, it improves, truly improves both ways. The delivery and the responsibility improves greatly, I would say, when you take this kind of a large teamwork approach. I mean, the projects are getting big, massive. The Central Vista, the kind of universities, everything is so big, and we don't really truly qualify to participate even. That is my point today, And I like to add, see, the 25-year-olds who start working, and simultaneously you start practicing and try out many things. And you're not too young to be an authority in what you do. I mean, if you maintain your humility, I mean, today's startup and innovative communities, you truly can do wonders. What we took 20 years, you can do it in 2 years. That's what I firmly believe in with the youngsters.
Definitely, sir. With guidance,
they have to believe in.
Definitely, sir. With guidance of such a great professional who has got so much of expertise, I think definitely the students are going to be under you, and get your guidance will do wonders, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being a part of this session and giving a wonderful presentation, sir. Thank you. And I thank you, sir. And I now request our Dean Ma'am to share a few words and also for the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Kavita. Thank you, Karunakaran sir. What you spoke is definitely the need of the hour and the projection for the future. Just like how the method we use taxis have changed, the method we use plumbing services or any services for the house has changed, how we approach any shopping has changed. Every field, every profession is going through change. Doctors are going through this change. Lawyers are going through this change. Technology, this is a technological revolution, and we are in the midst of it. And yes, we have to adapt for this change and gear up for a new dimension of working. And you have projected that dimension very well. Thank you for bringing it to the students out here who have to step out into a new world where everything is new. Though they have guides, but yes, they have a new arena to play. And what you are proposing, a collaboration, and the possibility of having fundraising, which is a very essential part of the initial startup. It's a great offer where they can also stabilize themselves before they take off and be part of a big whole and achieve big things rather than doing small things. So thank you for the hope that you have projected to the students in the future architects. Thanks from Jaya for giving us your time and coming and presenting today. And
Yeah.
thank you all the architects and audience and my dear students. Thank you so much for today. Hope this is informative. I hope you had a lot to take home. If you have any doubts, you can contact and we will get the information and put you on to Architect Karunakaran. Thank you for today. Let's meet again tomorrow.
Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thanks.